I'm going to read a chapter, a concept from this book called Anatomy of the Spirit, which is written by Carolyn Myss. So she's an journalist, and she quit her journalism by following her intuition and started doing readings on the people about their personal problems, of how they can heal and so on. But later on, just to brief very much quickly, later on, Carolyn has got an intuition that if she go on doing the readings on the people, she will no longer survive. Rather, she needs to guide the people of how to heal themselves, because healing is truly a personal job. This is what all the book is about. And she was explaining, when something happens in our body, the first thing that happens is on our energy field. And when our energy field gets distorted, our biology, our body also gets distorted. So this is the reason, sorry, I just wanted to show. So this is the reason why Carolyn always represented, like here, the three traditions, if you see in my screen, that the first one is the chakras, and the second one is the sacraments, and then the third one is the tree of life, which is also called Kabbalah techniques. And if we see all these sacraments, the tree of life and the chakras are all united. And whenever we have a problem, somehow or the other, it is always related to one of the chakra. And throughout her session, she has given a majority of the examples for each chakra. And for example, here, the first chakra is always based on the tribal group. So it is always represents the tribal power, and is also called, the quote is all is one. And the second chakra is the Swadhisthana. And in the second chakra, it is like going one step from the group into your personal journey. And this is called honor one another. And the third one, which we are going to see today, is the Manipuraka chakra, which is now again going one step further, deeper into yourself, identifying your personal power. And this purpose is honoring oneself. So these are all the Carolyn have given beautiful examples throughout all these chapters. And the initial thing is, when an energy is blocked, we can be able to see in these chakras. But treating or balancing these chakras is always on how we are acting to the problem, not like how to heal, how to balance a chakra. Rather, it always depends on what kind of problem you're having and which chakra it belongs to, but how you are acting on the problem. This is always that she have stated in her teachings. And now we will go through quickly the third chakra. Sorry, I don't know why is just so. Yes. So the third chakra is the personal power, which we are going to discuss today. This is really the personal power, and it is the dominant vibration in our development during puberty. So the first chakra forms like when we are born, because it is the group consciousness. The second chakra starts to develop around at the age of 7, because it is the social behavior and how we are treating with others. And the third chakra, it forms during our puberty. And it also assist us further in the process of how you are forming as a personality, like your individuality, where your ego is, what is your self, and all these are related with the third chakra. And this third chakra completes the physical triology of a human energy system. As I said, the first 1 and 2 chakra primarily relates to the physical form of power. And first chakra always resonates to the group or the tribal power, we say. And the second chakra is flow of the power between self and others, like how you relate also with the others. And third chakra is completely the personal power. in relation with the external world. This is what we have to see. And the location is the solar plexus. And the energy connection, if we see, we have a physical energy body, physical energy connection to the physical body, where we can see it always acts on stomach, pancreas, adrenals, upper intestines, gallbladder, liver, and middle spine. And we have also the energy connection to the mental, or we say emotional body. So the third chakra is called the solar plexus, of course, is our personal power center and the magnetic core of the personality and the ego. So whenever an illness generates, it always is based on where you're lacking self-esteem, and or it depends on self-responsibility. If you're having a fear of rejection, and or if you are oversensitive to any sort of criticism, the problems will form based on these kind of factors. And the symbolic connection is primarily, which is the external, and also the internalization of our consciousness. And the Sephiroth connection is Nizam, which is the divine quality of endurance, and the Sephirah of Hod, which symbolizes the majesty of the divine. And in the chakra system, these two qualities are partnered because within the Kabbalistic tradition, both represent the qualities we need in order to stand up as individuals. So that's why Neza and Hod are symbolically illustrated as the legs of the body. If you see in the picture before where I have shown, you can see where these two stands up. So these are also called the legs of the body. And the sacrament here that we need to know is the confirmation, which is also represents the conscious self, or even the human personality that is eternal and naturally aligned to the sacred. So what kind of fears we will be having primarily in this chakra? So whenever, if we have fears of rejection, or if we prone to any criticism, or if you're looking foolish and always like failing to meet one's responsibility, or all the fears related to appearance, if you're obese, or if you're bald or aging. So all these kind of fears are existing in this chakra. And we also see the strengths, this is where it happens. We always have to work on the strengths rather than on the fears. We have to identify the fears among us, and we have to primarily work on our strengths. So the self-respect, discipline, ambition, and ability to handle all the circumstances in our lives, like by being independent, and how we are ethical. So these are the primary strengths in the third chakra. And the sacred truth is honor oneself, as we have seen. And now we will see like how we have to develop our self-esteem, and how the personal power is required for all these. So here, if we see in this one, the thing is how we feel about ourselves, whether we respect ourselves, always determines the quality of our life. Self-understanding and acceptance and the bond we form with ourselves is in many ways the most crucial spiritual challenge that we face in this third chakra. In truth, if we do not like ourselves, we will always attract such kind of people into our life. And if we gain strength for each choice that we make on our challenges, then likewise the situations will be. So no one is born with a healthy self-esteem. We must earn this quality in the process of living as we face our challenges one at a time. And this third chakra in particular resonates to the boundaries of the physical body. Either we are physically strong or weak, or are you able or handicapped, if you're beautiful or scared or too tall or too short, all these kind of things. But all these kind of things from a spiritual perspective is also like illusionary, as again and again the challenges of the third chakra will always cause us to evaluate our sense of power and self in relation to the external world. And for example, let me give a small example here. So there are some challenges. There is a lady who was on a wheelchair from a long time. And the fact is that if the physical world is an illusion, does not mean that the wheelchair does not exist or that her physical problem is not real. It is real. Rather, it means that nothing in the physical world can contain or limit the power of the human spirit. So if the woman may never regain the use of her legs, but still, if she has the power to decide whether being in a wheelchair will handicap her spirit, that means she chooses. If a woman also chooses to make the best of her life in a wheelchair, then her spirit is there in her body. That is what it says. That is the personal power. So how best you are making from all your problems and how you are reacting with all your problems is the major thing. And for example, let me share a beautiful story here. There was a lady called Ruth. So Carolyn have met her in a workshop at Mexico. She was at the same hotel although she was not part of the workshop, but Carolyn have seen, and she was like standing behind Ruth and observing her. But somehow the Ruth also observed Carolyn and said like, come, let us continue our thinking, like why you're wondering how I managed to live in this body. Let me explain. That's what she said. So Ruth is like a 75-year-old woman. At that time, she keep on saying she is a Jewish lady. She keep on telling that she was widowed when she was 38 years old and she was left with 2 daughters to support her family. And when her old daughter was 22, she joined a Buddhist community. And she was feeling really bad because this lady has raised the kids with the Jewish traditions, but the lady have joined the Buddhist tradition, and this has offended the mother. And she keep on asking, how could you do this to me? And then the lady said, and the mother keep on saying to the elder lady that she might be on the drugs and give the drug also to me. So the lady really brought the drug and gave to Ruth. And what happened immediately after taking the drugs is, do not try the drugs, friends. This is just a story. Only please listen to the story. Yeah. And she took the drug, and the lady asked, like, does she believe in angels? So immediately upon taking the drug, she collapsed. And immediately it happened, she got an out-of-body experience. And in the out-of-body experience, the Ruth have seen her angel. And the angel kept on saying, how difficult it would be your angel, your guardian angel. And the angel kept on showing how difficult it is because she is always believed with her old belief patterns, and she is not coming out. So the angel clearly showed her saying that, for example, Ruth have been completely tied up in thousands of rubber bands. So if you are tied up with thousands of rubber bands, how difficult it will be. And slowly and slowly, the angel had a pair of scissors, and slowly, she kept on removing one by one on one, and freed herself. And that's what the angel have done. And the angel asked, now don't you feel better? And the lady obviously felt very lighter. And from that moment onwards, Ruth have recognized her angels. And now the thing is, before going on to the body, Ruth also have seen that herself full of arthritis. And the angel also have said that she will always be guarding Ruth irrespective of her problems. So that's where her angel has been guarding. And the thing is, how many problems you are having or what kind of diseases you are having, how much personal power you are having, and how much trust you are having on yourself, that is where the spirit lies within you. That is where the personal power lies within you. So from that moment onwards, Ruth have got a trust and she started doing meditation. So her story represents the choice to believe that the divine energy has more authority than the physical world of form and matter. This is what all it is. So we should never give up how the physical condition is. It is just we have to move from our fear, beyond our fears. And from then onwards, Ruth always keeps started to speak with her angels. So even for us, friends, our angels are always guiding us, and we are the ones who need to trust, although if they see or not, what kind of problems we are having, we should only need to trust that they are there to take care of us and we are in the safer hands. The only thing is we are here to experience what kind of situations we have chosen beyond the life, and what we have to experience and what we have to learn from those experiences. This is what truly the personal choice is, the personal power is. And we'll see one more thing, how do we enhance the inner power. So we reorder our lives when we choose spirit over the illusions of the physical circumstances. So with each choice we make, we either become more involved in the illusionary physical world, or we invest energy into the power of spirit. So each of the 7 chakras represents a different version, a manifestation of this is one essential lesson. And each time we choose to enhance our internal power, we limit the authority of the physical world over our lives, body, health, minds, and spirit. And from an energy perspective, every choice that enhances the spirit strengthens our energy field. And the stronger our energy field is, the fewer our connections to negative people and the experiences. So this is what we have to make. We have to grow stronger, and we have to enhance our spirit, and we have to strengthen our energy field. And here there was also the thing, however, how you are having the personal problems, you must have a strong determination and a strong sense of personal responsibility. And through all these factors, you will come out of any sort of situation. And these are the qualities of the third chakra. And if one believes very strongly, healing will happen very rapidly. So here the other thing is, why one believes strongly healing will happen rapidly is, there was a statement that Caroline have given, because we will be most of us will be having painful childhood memories. And for some people it requires many years to heal such kind of problems, because the way we grew up, always if we see, the problems will be in roots. And we sometimes do not know how we are even carrying such kind of roots in us. And for such kind of people, the healing will take years. But if we believe very strongly, we can let go of any situation. For example, if death happens in any family, some people will think that they can never recover. Some people might think that they can recover in 5 years or 10 years. And some people with a strong determination can recover in just 1 year or even less than a year. So this is what she says, like, if we believe strongly, healing will happen very much rapidly. It's not just about the death, any kind of disease or any sort of problem, it will be solved with the strong determination. So there was also another beautiful example which was given by Carolyn. Let us see it. So there was a lady called Margaret. She was strictly raised by her parents. She was her upbringing was normal, ordinary, and very strict. Her parents were screening her all the time, everything she did, whether be it she go to her friends, what her friends are, how she is studying, everything. They were screening her very much. And Margaret was never allowed to attend any functions that her parents felt that were too radical. So sometimes she don't even read the newspaper. She was completely controlled by her parents, and also the parents have the fear of unknown. She grew up with the fear of unknown. When she went to school, her parents told that because she was a woman, she essentially had two occupations open to her, which is teaching or nursing. And among them, she chose to be a nurse. See, this is what almost even in India happens. Our parents are the one who keeps on guiding the children, like what to take among the options which they give. So that's what happened even to her, to the Margaret. So among the teaching and nursing, she have chosen to be a nurse. And just like that, Margaret also got married later, and again, her husband also duplicated her parents. So he was also very much strict, and both of them moved to a small town and practiced a small home care nursing. And there, what happened is, in that home, in the same town, there was a woman named Oli. She was very much old woman, and she earned a reputation in that city of being dangerous. So no one would talk with her, or no one would invite her to any of the social events, nor anything. So what happened is, one day Oli was sick, and she required some assistance. And Margaret is the only person who had been to Oli's home, and she started taking care of Oli. So like that, they developed a strong friendship, strong bond, and that's how they became very good friends. And Oli paused a moment and then shared with her that power had come on her sudden, like when she was a child. So basically, Oli is a healing, does healing on the people, and this healing have represented among the people that she is really bad. It's a natural gift that has gifted her, but the people have portrayed her in a negative way, and that's why she was seemed as being dangerous. But Margaret didn't trust any of the people. Rather, she went to Oli, she trusted her, she made good bonding with Oli, and the bond grew stronger. But then what happened is, her husband said to not go to this women, because there was also a rule saying that after 6 months the other person will become another person, and vice versa. So likewise, the changes are also happening in Margaret, and she also started to recognize the people's energy and started to heal. But so her husband didn't like that way, and husband left Margaret. So what happened is, after some time, her husband, Margaret's husband, got sick, and the same person, Oli, is the one who healed the guy. And from that moment, um, they started to take Olis to their own home, and they left Oli with freedom, and that's what, again, all of their bond grew very much stronger. So what does this story also tells us? So without any doubt, our childhood memories, will always be like a great pain. But how we are feeling to ourselves and how we are believing ourselves is much more important. So here, Oli have believed herself, and she's trusted Oli. Margaret have trusted herself, and she treated Oli. And that's where they came to know the original power of Oli. So please always trust your intuition, and your beliefs, no matter what, how upbringing, how painful your upbringing is, you just only need to believe what you trust. And this is what, how we enhance our inner power. So this is what all it is, friends. So today I'm going to discuss about the third chakra, friends. So what this book is, like, I'm reading the book Anatomy of the Spirit once again for the people who do not know. And this is written by Carolyn Myss. So this book says about our energy, how we have to deal with our energy, and how we have to be very much aware of our inner journey, basically. So whenever the energy is getting blocked, it is getting stuck in any of the chakra. But how to balance again the chakras is the way how you react or respond to the situation as well. And this book also says that healing is a very personal task, and that is the reason why Carolyn has given so many examples in this book throughout, so that we learn and gain wisdom from all these examples and we imply by ourselves. So she tried to cover as much as possible, and it was really intense and also challenging us to challenge to us to follow all these kind of wisdom that she gave to us. So we will see on a brief what exactly is about the third chakra, because the part which I mentioned here is the major thing. You see, in the energy connection, we have like energy connection of the physical body and the mental body. And if this energy gets blocked, what kind of problems, where we'll get diseases is on based on the stomach, pancreas, adrenals, gallbladder, liver, middle spine, and so on. And also the mental body is, for example, if you have any fear of rejection, or if you are having low self-esteem, no, then this is where the mental body gets affected by all the things. And the primary strength is again self-respect, discipline, ambition, and able to handle and following the ethics. So when we are able to follow all these kind of things, when we respect ourselves and when we deal in the situations with self-respect, then we will gain all this kind of we will be gaining over ourselves, and even the energy which got blocked will not be blocked again. That's what we have to gain the strengths. So these are the primary strengths and the primary fears. So from fears we overcome that and we gain the strength, and we recognize our personal power. So that's what Carolyn have mentioned always with the examples, which the recordings are there in the YouTube sessions as well, friends. So one who have missed, please go and watch it as well. So here, basically, low self-esteem is that, we have to be, we have to know how much of importance that we are giving to ourselves. Sometimes we always criticize ourselves, but that is not the fact. And if we trust ourselves, then all the miracles will happen. That's what it says. And then our life also will be at good. And also here in self-esteem, what Carolyn have said is, sometimes even, for example, people on a wheelchair, they will have their spirit inside, which means they will be very active. But with the others, it's different. That's what Carolyn says. When our spirit is living inside, nothing can tear us. And this is what we are. And that is the challenge that we always keep to have. And yes, there are some examples. Sorry, this is again about, yeah. So today's topic is about the self-esteem and the intuition. So let me start with intuition. So how many of you thought like what means intuition? Because even I had a feeling intuition is always like foreseeing the future. So let's make also the session as interactive, friends. How many of you, understood what means intuition, just tell that without seeing this slide. Any one of you want to share, my dear friends? Yes, Lakshmiji?
For me, intuition is a deep sense of knowing that comes from inside.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you, Lakshmiji. Anyone else, friends? You can just share without any fear. No one is here to judge as well. But yes. So, yes, are there anyone going to share? Okay. So what Carolyn have said here is, so intuition is the ability to use energy data. So we always have the energy field, right? And yes, okay. Thank you, Kenareji. You said it's a gut feeling. In a way, that is also true. Yes. So coming back to the topic, yes, we all have the energy field. And when we get disturbed, the energy is the main field which gets disturbed immediately. So that's what Carolyn says. Intuition is the ability to use energy data to make decisions in the very immediate moment. And also, in order to take such kind of decisions, you also need to become detached to the situation. You should never be attached or be overly sensitive, because in that case, if you are sensitive, you will lose the insight of what is happening on the other side. So that is what she says. When something makes us very much uncomfortable, or if we are deeply depressed, we can't become detached. But our challenge again is to become detached and also work on it. So that is how. And also here, the other thing is, intuition is not a gifted. It's not gifted to someone, like it happens only to some people. Only for some people, intuition works. That's what she says. Intuition is a gift that everyone in this life can have by following some principles, by following yourself, by believing in yourself. So that's what she says. And also the other thing is here, what I have to say. So normally when a people is having low self-esteem, they will also attract such kind of people in their lives, or also they have fear of failure. Such kind of fears will be very much intense for the people who are having low self-esteem. But intuition will work only if one has the courage and also the personal power to follow through on the guidance that it provides. So we are the ones who need to completely trust, and also at the same time, we need to come out of the comfort zone to take the action. So whenever, for example, we are in the discomfort zone, okay, not all the times, most majority of the times, if we feel discomfort in any sort of situation, then it means there is a direction that there is a direction. So something is going on, and we have to recognize such kind of things. And that's what she says here. And also here, the other thing is, we have to be completely alive inside by becoming internally empowered. So let me give an example, friends. Here, what happened is, in one of the Carolyn's workshop, a woman named Sandy, let's say, she had spent in India in an ashram for almost 6 years. So she has been meditating for almost 6 years. But then, instead of believing in herself, she was asking Carolyn about the impression that where she has to live and how she have to earn her living. And Carolyn thought, like, why she was asking her instead of trusting on herself. But the same thing also happened, and she do not know what kind of occupation she has to take, and she was very much confused.
So this confusion had given so many of the nightmares to her, and she exactly stated to Carolyn all these kind of situations that she's having, like the kind of migraines and everything. But then she also had a dream of dream that she has to go back to her teachings, that what she have learned. So then by following her dream, so she started with the play school, and from play school to the school, and in the school she started to take meditation sessions, and from there onwards, she introduced the extracurricular activities on meditation for the high school students, and it went from once to twice in a week, and so on. So her career also started likewise by following the dream as well. And this is what Carolyn says. So, from low self esteem, this is also one self example that she had the courage to follow her dream, and her career also got established. And likewise, there are many examples which were given in the book as well, friends, which is very much encouraging and giving motivating for all of us, where majority of them I'm mostly covering, but I still recommend every one of you to read the books as well. And this is what, again, coming back. So when we are speaking about the chakra, before I have mentioned in my previous chapters that Carolyn have combined three traditions. So the first one is the Eastern traditions, which is all the 7 chakras. And the next one is the Christian sacraments. And the next one is Kabbalah tree of life. So she have combined all these 3 traditions, and she tried to put her knowledge in, in a unique way that states that all 3 traditions represent the same. And so by in this one, the symbolic meaning called the sacrament of confirmation is saying that is just exactly the same sentence what I have kept here. We have to become alive inside by becoming internally empowered. So self-esteem and conscious personal power sometimes develop at a memorable point in life that signifies an initiation into spiritual adulthood. And developing the confidence to pursue goals is also one way that personal power becomes an agent of personal change. So, and at the same time, at each level of change within a person's spiritual or symbolic life, we become also internally empowered, and there shifts a person's center of gravity from external to internal, which is a mark of the spiritual passage. That is the gateway for us, and that is the first step. And next we'll see the 4 stages of the personal power. Yes. So here, so what Carolyn has said is self-esteem became a very much popular word beginning in the 1960s, and a decade of revolution that defined our view of the empowered individual. And only then did self-esteem become accepted as essential to women's and men's health, which is redefined to include psychological and spiritual health as well as physical health. So each of these 3 decades, when they were changing, seemed to refine further this new definition of self-esteem. So symbolically, the social trends between 1960s and 1990s reflect the developmental stages of the self-empowerment. And after the 1960s, a decade of revolution came to 1970s, which is called the decade of involution. But we'll first know about the 1960s. So what happened here is, during this time, most of the people broke down their external barriers, and the raw energy has been released during this period. So this broke the external barriers, which we'll also see with some examples later on. And this is the revolution. And this led to 1970s tasks of breaking through internal barriers. And this was the decade that made physiotherapy a household word. So in 1970s, there have been merged two psychological forces. The first one, exceedingly powerful word, which is the self. And this self was released with the suffix being it. And that one word alone is selfish. And for centuries, this word has been very strong enough to prevent most of the people from pursuing any form of personal development. And 1970s made self an acceptable and commonly used prefix as self-motivated, self-healing, and self-awareness. And this small sort of simple shift was equal to giving each of us our own key to sacred garden. And this is the little help that we all have to discover and indeed walk within ourselves. So the test again, how far the power of our new selves could take us, the theme of 1980s became the indulgence of the self, which is the narcissism. And its narcissistic atmosphere made us feel as if we were suddenly free to satisfy all of our physical desires. And indulge we did to every extreme. For example, like how fast we could become rich, how fast we could transfer information, how fast could we convert our world into a techno planet, how fast could we become thin, how fast could we become healed. So each of the goal of becoming conscious, formally a sacred task that requires a lifetime's dedicated work, became something people believed they could achieve in a week if they paid enough money. But that's not the case. And so even self-indulgence reached a saturation point, according to Carolyn, but I still feel it's just the same even now because we are all like all the time. It should happen very quickly. So she has said that it has reached a saturation point, and the time that we entered 1990s. So again, there was a shift that the pendulum had once again swung from the external world to the internal world, directing all these energy patterns toward personal evolution and forming a self that is powerful enough to be in the world, but not of the world. A self that can enjoy the magnificence of the physical world without allowing the world's many illusions to deplete its soul. So revolution, involution, narcissism, and evolution are the four stages through which we progress to attain self-esteem and self-maturity. A spiritual adult involves his or her inner spiritual qualities in everyday decisions, and one's spiritual thoughts and activities are inseparable from other aspects of life, and which is called all becomes one. And a person may spend years in each phase or only months, but regardless of how long the phase lasts, we'll grapple with all the particular challenges, what we have gone through, and how we tackled all those challenges, either with self-respect, how we are following the ethics, what kind of morality we are having, what is our character while dealing such kind of situations. So always we have to work to discover ourselves, to understand why we keep secrets or why we have addictions or why we even blame others for our own errors. So we must work to understand why we find it difficult to receive or give a compliment sometimes, or whether we carry shame within us. And we need to be comfortable with taking pride in our own character and accomplishments. I say once again, we need to be comfortable with taking pride in our character and accomplishments. We need to learn the parameters of our characters, how much of ourselves we will compromise and where we draw the line, or even if we draw the line. And creating an identity for ourselves is based upon self-discovery and not upon biological and ethnic inheritance. And this is what all the four stages describes, friends. So in each stage, we have to say, for example, in revolution, the thing is like we need to honor our personal values, and we should also need to have the courage to make the choice what we need to have. So this inner strength. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. And when we need to develop this kind of inner strength even in the small measures, and that's why we continuously need to self examine and introspect ourselves. And this is the stage, and the next stage is the involution. Involution is completely about the interior self. And so this is where we will be gaining our inner strength as well. And again, the involution stage is followed by the narcissistic birthing of a new image of oneself. So here it comes like what kind of image and what kind of significance we are giving to ourselves. Again, everything is like going inwardly from one step to the other, and we have to go very slowly. And in evolution, we have to say, for example, there are some examples like Gandhi and Mandela. So she entered into a stage of evolution in which personality became persona. So it is an archetypal force from which millions of people could draw inspiration. As your spirit takes command, the world will also yield to its force. So these two people are the ones who are really examples who acted on this chakra. And we see the next slide. So what are the challenges of this journey? So, as I have stated initially, so in this chakra, we have to gain self-understanding. We have to be independent. We need to have the self-respect on ourselves. And even though the journey consists of only the 4 stages, this third chakra is filled with the energy of our personal ambitions and responsibilities, and also our respect for our strengths and weaknesses. We have to respect even our strengths and also our weaknesses. Also, we have to respect our fears and the secrets that we are not yet ready to face. We have to respect ourselves as we are, because we are often having our personal conflicts internally. We meet the spiritual challenge to becoming empty in order to be made full, to die to old habits and self-images in order to be reborn. And this is our major challenge in this chakra. I believe every one of you does it so. And this way, we will gain faith in ourselves. So self-inquiry and symbolic sight is vital spiritual task that leads to the growth of faith in ourselves. So this is what all is, friends. And as I have said before, I have stated the Christian sacrament is the confirmation, and the code is honor oneself. So whereas in the first chakra, we say all is one, so which is the group energies. Whereas the second chakra is one step more internal, and also observing what kind of qualities that we are taking from others. So that is honoring each other. And this is honoring oneself. Sorry, I wrote on self. Sorry, it is oneself. And here, as we gain strength and stamina by living with that come from living with self-esteem, our intuitive abilities also emerge naturally. So this is all what about the third chakra, my dear friends. So there are questions as well. All these questions are there in the book as well. See, these are all the simple questions. And if we write all these answers, from the bottom of our heart, we will also know each and every point, like where we are strong, where we are weak, what are our fears, how much of courage we are having to make changes in our life, everything. So, yes, my dear friends, this is all for today. And so, shall we go with the meditation, or if anyone wants to share on the topic of what you have gained, the wisdom, or even if you want to share your personal experiences, you may please unmute your mic and go ahead. Yes, friends, does anyone wants to share on the wisdom that you have gained today? So we shall go with the meditation then in that case.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes, yes, Anu.
Yeah. See, when we are also knowing that the divine feminine energy is at a rise, and for every being, they will be in touch with the divine feminine energy because the earth is ascending into the fifth dimension. Does it also affect the chakras in some way? Because as women, and I see in today's chat, most of us are ladies here, though divine feminine energies to also do with men because it's equally, right, the male and the
Yes,
female feminine energy. But my
yes.
question is, when it comes to doubt and all, I think females are more, we tend to be so doubtful of our own everything, right from strength. We see we are not too aggressive, we are not this, we always try to, I don't know about others, but at least I try to do it, sometimes, most of
Yeah.
the times I'm even scared to express, if even if I'm right.
Yes.
So uh, is there any, I don't know if there's a shortcut to really learn these things more than the questions that you said, but how do we, is there something that you could take away from the book and just give us some tips also, like just speak about it in terms of summary, like in a daily way, what could be the best way to connect to the first, second, and third chakra, since you're on the third chakra now? So first, second, and third, and how
Yeah.
do we create that balance? Thanks.
So, yeah, thank you so much, Anuji. So the thing is, right from the book, when she was stating about the first, second chakras and the third chakra, so basically the first chakra is all about the tribal group. So for example, if a tribal in the sense, not the tribe which we see in these days, it's about the society, let's say. So if a society imposes any sort of rules, let's say if you behave this way, this is good, and if you be quiet, you will learn this, or any sort of good or bad, we impose all the characteristics that we gain in that group. And if a group energy is affected, then the entire people in that community also gets affected. That's where the first chakra. And the second chakra is seeing the other person and learning from the other person as well. So, for example, if other person says like, this is good, or uh, uh, in both ways, either positive or the negative, how manipulating they are and how much of courage we have to have. So, every chakra says there is each and small change that we have to make in us as well. So, for example, if we have fears, what sort of fears are we really having? Is it like a fear to speak in front of people, or fear that we are financially unstable, or if we are having a fear for the job, loss of job? So basically, recognizing our fears is the first step, but overcoming such kind of fears is taking a gut instinct or taking the courage to act on our fears. That's what all this book states. So all these examples here which have been mentioned in this book is, it shows, all the examples shows where the energy gets blocked. For example, if we are having with loss of job, with job loss or financial instability, then it states that the energy is getting blocked in the third chakra. But in order again to balance the third chakra, we need to act on the situation. And also we need to think of the healing patterns in the sense like doing meditation and not thinking all these terms and like acting step by step. So this is what all the journey which I'm summarizing about it as well. So we will go also step by step also to the seventh chakra, and we'll know completely about ourselves.
Okay, thank you so much. Really, yeah, thanks. Yeah, some of the points you did mention earlier also. Yeah, so thanks. I got it.
Thank you so much, Anu. Thank you so much. But thank you so much for coming up and asking such kind of questions as well, because this gives us more of us to interact and also explain if any of one also having such kind of fears, it's a good platform for all of us to share and how we have overcome such kind of fears as well. Thank you so much, Anuji.
Okay, can I ask you one more question if you don't
Yes,
mind?
yes, for sure.
Okay, I always get confused when I look at chakras because I know there are much more. We have many more chakras. We have, because in our feet and even in our hands, even on top of our head, there are more than 12 or 15 such chakras, which is fine, smaller or bigger. But I'm always confused whether these chakras are like plates, like round, but facing us, or are they horizontal? Because, I don't know if there's any book which shows it, because every chakra they show a different color, different shape, but they don't mention how are they placed. Are they like sun? Are they like I hope you're getting my point. Like the positioning, is it is it like a rod through the sukshma nadi, or maybe in the central, and then these plates are stacked like plates? Are they stacked like those, or are they round and facing the other person? Did you get my question, what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, but honestly, to answer your question, well, even I do not have an honest answer for that, Anuji.
Okay. Because
But
when okay, no problem. Because I know for third eye it's easy, it's here somewhere near the forehead, because I'm assuming that it's looking forward. I don't know, somehow. But for others, I don't know whether they are really placed like central, or is it, you got my question, right?
yes. So the thing is, I would suggest only one thing, if you deeply observe your breath, you will feel the sensation only in majorly in the chakras. And at that point, at that moment, you will know where your chakra is located as well. But then all these colors again have been given based on the strengths they act. For example, the base chakra is very much red because that is the birth that, we all give to something, even it could be for life or something. So I believe that all these colors have been given on such kind of principles, but the location in the body we just have to feel by doing meditation.
Okay, dear. Thank you so much. Sorry for I don't know.
No worries, nothing at all. You have to ask the questions. So when I know, I can say, or maybe you can even read the book called Eastern Body, Western Mind. So I heard from some of the friends that if you really want to know about the chakras, that book gives even more information.
Eastern Body, Western Mind.
Western
right?
Minds, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.